Hello everyone, I hope you had a great week. I'm sitting in bed because I was about to sleep, but this message has been so heavy on my heart that I just have to share it. And what I want to talk about, I don't have a title for it, but I just want to speak to somebody out there who feels compelled to do something because they're pressed on every side. My advice to you is to wait and be still. And I'll just share some background to this. You see, I was speaking to a friend recently and she was explaining to me how dissatisfied she was with her life because she's been praying for so many things which I'm aware of, and none of those things are coming together because, I don't know, for some reason they just keep eluding her. I understand that she's going through a wilderness phase, which is a completely different video that I'll be doing sometime later. But, you know, she just feels unhappy because it seems like every other person is moving on and she's stuck. And so she said to me during the course of last week, well, if things don't work out by the end of this year, I'm going to get married and I'm going to make a baby, whichever one comes first. And so I asked her, how is getting married or making a baby going to make your life, put your life together in order, or put your life in order rather? How is that going to help you? And she couldn't answer. And we just left it at that. It was just an open-ended question that was left hanging in the air. But when I got home and I was busy with work, you know, I started to think about it. I was trying to imagine, you know, what she was feeling. I was trying to put myself in her shoes, to imagine what she was feeling. And just right there and then, you know, something in my spirit remembered 1 Samuel chapter 13 about Saul, and when Saul and the Philistines were at war, and Saul had been told by Samuel to wait by Gilgal. This is in 1 Samuel, I think this is from verse 8. Samuel had said to Saul, wait for me by Gilgal, and I will come there, I'll offer the sacrifices to God, do the right thing, and then, you know, you can go and fight against the enemy. And he said to wait for 7 days. So Saul had been waiting, and on the 7th day Samuel still hadn't arrived, and Saul's soldiers were getting fidgety, and so, you know, some of them started to move. And because of that, Saul felt like he had to do something, so he took the burnt offering and he offered it himself. And when Samuel got there, Samuel was angry because first of all, Saul had disobeyed him. He had disobeyed the commandment of God, and Saul had been, you know, impatient. And Saul said to him, well, you can't blame me, because I think this is in verse 12. People were leaving, the soldiers were leaving. I felt compelled to do something. I felt compelled to offer the offering myself. And you know, the moment that dropped on my heart, I realized that so many of our decisions come from a compulsion that we feel because the situation around us makes us believe that we must do something. So I thought about it, and I just have to share this with you. You know, there's so many times when you'll be pressed on every side. There's so many times when the situation feels like a storm and you're just like right there in the eye of the storm. You know, you're standing there and there's this whirlwind just going on around you. At that point in time, do not make a move. The reason I say this is because that storm that you feel, that storm that you're experiencing is a temporary situation. You're not going to be in the eye of the storm forever. You're not going to be in the middle of the whirlwind forever. It's going to pass. The decisions that you make at that time, if you make the mistake of making a permanent decision at that time, you're going to make a decision that would affect the later stages of your life, the later phases of your life. For example, take my friend for example. She wants to get married because she's dissatisfied. So chances are the next person who shows up, whether he's an abuser, even if he doesn't believe in God, even if he doesn't trust in God, even if he doesn't know how to treat her, even if he doesn't genuinely love her, would most likely be a person that she would want to marry because she feels like she's got to do something to feel like her life is actually working out. So I just want to encourage you to be still. You know, like when you're waiting on God, when you feel like there's a storm going on around you, when you don't have peace in your heart, especially when you have to make a decision, don't make one. Rather stand still and let the storm pass and then make a decision from a clear point of view. And I know this sounds very logical, but I just want you to understand that it's also faith-based. God says, be still and know that I am God. He's not saying that simply because it's a nice thing to say. He's saying that because he knows that there will be times in our lives when we feel compelled to make a move. And at that point in time, he doesn't want us to make a move, because your move should not come from compulsion. It needs to come from having the peace of God within you. It needs to come from a place where you know that God has your back and this decision you're making is in line with what God would want you to do. It comes from a place of having so much faith in God that you're willing to stand still, knowing that the storm is not going to sweep you away. And so I just want to share that with you guys and tell you to please be willing to stand still and stand firm. And it's so interesting because I attend Rema Church in Randburg in Johannesburg. something, and we just had the youth conference, and it was called The Stand. And you know, when I heard some of the messages tonight, it just reaffirmed in my heart that I had to put this on video and share this with all of you out there, that please be willing to stand, and be willing to stand still. There are situations, yes, when you have to make a move, when God says, okay, I'm keeping you here to wait, but I want you to be busy with 1, 2, 3. I'm taking you to a promised land, but I want you to learn how to do 1, 2, 3, because you need those skills there. And there are situations where God just says, just be still, stand here, do nothing. Don't make a move. Don't try to swim in the storm. Don't try to fight the wind. Don't try to do anything. Just stand here and believe that I will let the storm just wash over you and nothing will harm you. So I want to tell you today, be willing to stand still. Be willing to trust God that He's in the eye of the storm and He will keep you safe. I hope this is encouraging for you, especially those of you out there who are really pressed, who feel like life is just tiring and nothing is working out. Please be willing to stand still. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, guys. Have a good night. Bye.